Statistically has been the more efficient striker. Down and out goes Lamas.
No.
Far, yeah.
No, no, no. No. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment your predictions. That is right. Kevin Vallejos has personally reached out to me and told me that he is winning this fight on Saturday night against Josh Emmett. So I'm going with Vallejos. Let's hope he gets this one done. But first things first, let's start at the early prelim predictions here. We'll make our way from the bottom of the card, get all the way to the top. First up, we got Piera Rodriguez versus Sam Hughes 2. This is a second fight between these two girls. I don't know why we're getting so many random ass rematches like Ferreira Rodriguez. There was another women's fight where the girl like slammed her and broke her collarbone. I can't even think of their names right now. I'm still leaning Piera Rodriguez to get this one done against Sam Hughes again. She's just a bigger, stronger woman in the octagon, and she actually has fought better competition in my opinion over Sam Hughes. Sam Hughes has 2 split decisions in her last 3 wins. Not that great. And Rodriguez just beat Ketlin Souza, which is honestly the best win on either of these women's records or resumes. So give me Piera Rodriguez getting this one done by 30-27 decision. Next up, we got Luan Lacerada versus Hector Souza. This Souza guy is actually pretty good. He's like a bantamweight Andreas Gustafsson. If you know, you know. Andreas Gustafsson has like this suffocating pressure, insane clinch game, just holds you there, beats you up, doesn't stop hitting you, doesn't stop threatening submissions, always on top of you, always making you think about what he's going to do next. That's exactly what Hector Souza reminds me of, fighting out of Spain. Yeah, Souza fought this guy who literally looked like a Brazilian McLovin. I'll throw a photo on the screen, but he literally straight out of Superbad, this guy. But yeah, I mean, Sosa's just going to win via pressure, beating up on the cage, clinch, threatening submissions, threatening takedowns, doing everything, mixing it all up very, very nicely, and he will get this one done by 30-27 decision. Next up, we got Beatriz Mesquita versus Montserrat Rendon. I'm going to go with Beatriz Mesquita to get this one done, just being the more experienced grappler. Honestly, Montserrat is just not that good. Never had a finish in her 8 MMA fights, and there's 4 split decisions in her 7 wins. I don't see her finding really any success in the grappling against Beatriz here, and I just ultimately think Beatriz is going to get this one done via round 2 submission. Next up, we got Brad Tavares versus Eric Anders, an absolute battle of the unks here. A couple of old vets swanging and banging. This actually, honestly, this card is fairly decent. Like, there's a lot of like sleeper fights on here. If you know, you know. Kind of gets you excited as like a really diehard UFC fan. The bout ordering super weird, super weird. Like we got Mitabek Orabai versus Chris Curtis on the prelims. Like that's a co-main in the Apex for sure. When we have Julian Robertson versus Amanda Lemos in that spot. Really weird. Main card's weird too. Like, anyway, nonetheless, Tavares versus Anders. I don't know what it is. I really feel like Brad Tavares is the better of these two fighters. He has really good leg kicks, and we know Anders is susceptible to those after seeing his fight against Khalil Roundtree, where his legs just got beat up and he was limping around. He survived the fight, but he did not have a good time. Probably didn't walk for days. And I just think Brad is bit of a more powerful guy, can land his strikes a little more cleanly, although he does do this like whipping hook where it's like it's kind of open palmed, like he doesn't like roll his wrist around to get that knuckle to face power. But I still think he's just a better fighter than Eric Anders here, to be honest with you. And I think Eric Anders is going to want to try to grapple, but I think Brad Vargas is going to be able to stuff his takedowns and ultimately win a 29-28 decision. Next up, we got Bolajai Oki versus Manuel Sosa. Manuel Sosa making his UFC debut. Believe it or not, this guy has a win over Mauricio Rufy in 2019, though, so it was like 7 years ago. Mauricio Rufy 100% chins this guy now. It was kind of just like he backed Rufy up against the cage in round 2 and just kind of like was swinging at his dome and just caught him on the chin, kind of put him down. Didn't put him like out cold, just kind of rocked him bad. Not the UFC. The refs are a little bit quicker to jump in to try to save you. I mean, we don't need guys taking crazy damage when they're not in the UFC making actual money, right? Like, who wants to get life-altering brain damage for 2K show, 2K win, you know? I don't think anyone wants that at all. The thing that makes me nervous about Bolajai Oki is that this guy literally doesn't have head movement. He will get himself into some pretty extreme firefights where he is just swanging. He'll eat one to give one, but a lot of the times his give one isn't as good as the one he just took. So that definitely has me concerned when Manuel Sosa is a big power puncher guy. He swings wildly to take your head off. It does make me a little nervous because he does rush in swinging hooks with his chin high in the air. So he is kind of open to a counter, but I don't think Oki's going to find it here. I worry that he's going to get caught early, relatively, round 1 or round 2. And Sosa's just the more powerful guy, and he's going to find the shot before Oki. And that trading mentality that he gets himself into is really going to cost him against a guy like Sosa when Sosa has more power than he does, right? So, yeah, give me Sosa round 2 KO, potentially round 1, but I'll say round 2. Next up, we got Yu Su Young versus Elijah Smith. Okay, so these odds are like pretty heavily skewed towards Elijah Smith, which I think is interesting. I think it's a lot of casual UFC bettors kind of seeing Elijah Smith's slam. I don't know if it was in his debut UFC fight or his second fight in the UFC where he got that huge slam KO, which was nasty. But a lot of the time when guys get highlights like that, it kind of brings in this false sort of idea that they're a really, really good MMA fighter when in reality they maybe just had a moment, which I kind of think is what is bringing the betting so far in favor of Smith here. Just kind of like that highlight clip that everyone's seen. But I am still leaning Elijah Smith here. I just think he's quicker. I think he has more finishing potential than Yu Su Young does. Yu Su Young does do pretty well trying to find submissions in his ground game. But he's got one of the biggest heads I've ever seen. And he just kind of walks you down and gets hit for it. There is a chance where Yu Su Young does get the takedowns and does get control and kind of works on the ground, kind of dominating Elijah Smith in that area. But I think Smith can defend the takedowns and find a finish in round 2. TKO, KO, same thing. But I think Smith is going to find the shot on this big ass head, bro. Next up, we got Vitor Petrino versus Steven Asplin. Steven Asplin with easily one of the worst physiques in UFC history. This guy, he must have been pushing 400 at his peak fat. Because this guy, I mean, he's got some serious loose skin issues, which I'm not judging. I'm happy to see a guy kind of better himself. But, like, he must have been huge. He had to have been massive. And Petrino's got a physique where he's a fat light heavyweight. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like he just was like, yeah, I want to go to heavyweight because I keep getting chinned at light heavyweight. But in order to do that, I need to get a little bit fat. Don't get me wrong, he's jacked. He's a big boy. I wouldn't want to fuck with him, but he's a little fat. You know, a little bit fat in terms of like, what we see it in some of these lighter weight classes. You know what I mean? Let's get back to the discussion at hand here. Steven Asplin has a good jab. He has a good jab. That's about it. His striking defense is entirely reliant on his height. He just kind of leans back and hopes that because he's a tall guy, that he's going to get back far enough. A lot of the time, or eventually, will get you into some trouble. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be cheering for this. I like him. He's a good personality. He's they'll keep him around just because he's good on the mic. He has charisma. He's a good talker. He's self-aware. He knows that, he has a terrible physique. I'm cheering for jacked, freak-looking heavyweights with athleticism to win these type of fights. And I think what's going to happen, that head movement I was talking about from Asplund, just trying to lean back to dodge those shots, I think Petrino's eventually going to figure out his range and find the shot in round 2. And TKO Asplund. I think he's going to land a big shot, knock him down, and then hammer fist him his way to victory here. Next up, we got Chris Curtis versus Midabek Oralbai. Good fight. Honestly, a really good fight here. I fucking hate Chris Curtis. I think he's a whiny, pouty little baby boy in there. I think this guy always has an issue with what his opponent's doing to him and just never just fights. There's always an excuse of why he got hit or why he lost or why he got taken down. There's always something with this dude. He's really frustrating to watch. He does this really lame-ass thing where he just like shakes his head every time he gets hit with like a half-decent shot. Like, nope, that didn't hit. Nope, that didn't hit. Like a weird denial thing. He always seems very focused on his defense rather than like his counter shots and like putting volume of strikes out there. He's always like high guard, kind of holding himself up, never really countering as often as he should. And I think that's going to get him into trouble against Oralbai because Oralbai is going to work the takedowns. We know that for sure. This guy's a good grappler. He's pretty good on the feet as well, but I think he's going to want to get this fight to the ground. I don't think Oralbai is going to find a sub here because Chris Curtis does have really good submission defense once he gets taken down. He is good at scrambling, getting back up to his feet. But he just doesn't do enough on the feet for me to want to pick him here. He doesn't land enough volume. He doesn't land damaging shots. He's a bit of a pit-pat guy other than his knockout over Joaquin Buckley, which he was losing that fight pretty badly and just caught Buckley kind of out of nowhere. And I'm just simply not going to choose a guy for basically doing nothing the whole fight and bitching about it. So I think Midabek Oralbai is going to win this one by 30-27 decision. Next up, we got another good fight here. Charles Johnson versus Bruno Silva. I think this is the main card opener, if I'm not mistaken. Charles Johnson, he is literally the Michael Johnson of flyweight. He will chin Joshua Van and then get chinned by some fucking no-name making their debut. Completely bizarre. It's funny how there's guys that are like that, where they just beat these crazy up-and-coming prospects and then just get dominated their next fight. It's so weird. I don't necessarily think Bruno Silva is that good. I think Johnson should get this one done. I think he has the wrestling to take control of the fight, that side of things. If the striking gets close, like Bruno Silva does get a little wild. If the going gets tough, he kind of just swings for the hills and just hopes to land that big shot, which he could land on Charles Johnson. He absolutely could. Johnson has the ability to work the body here, though. Bruno Silva is super open to the body. Just, you could rip his body, come back upstairs, put him down easily. It's a close fight. It's a kind of tough one because it's like Charles Johnson, man. Does he get chinned or does he chin? I think neither. I think he's going to win this one 29-28 decision. I think it's going to be relatively close, but I think Charles Johnson is better all around than Bruno Silva. Next up, we got Ian Cutelaba, my Moldovan homie. What's up, boy? Woo! I love the Hulk. I love this guy. One of my favorite fighters to watch on the UFC. He's usually so entertaining. I think his last fight was a little bit of a snoozer against Modestas Bukauskas, which he lost split decision. I thought he won. I'll say that right here. I thought he won. Against Umar Sy, France prospect. I think Cutelaba, he has matured a lot recently in his career. He used to be pretty dumb. I think about his 2 fights with Magomed Ankalaev. The first fight in which he was pretending to get KO'd and then just actually got rocked. Still pretended to be KO'd. And then the ref ended up stopping the fight. And he was like, what the fuck, man? I'm still going. I'm trying to bait Ankalaev into coming here so I can swing these big meaty hooks into his chin. Nah, bro. Like, you're not Derek Lewis, unfortunately. But I love you still. Yeah, so that makes me worried because this guy does have a tendency to lose all striking technicality and just swing hooks. Open chin, doesn't give a shit if he gets KO, just swing it. And that gets you in trouble. that gets you in trouble, especially against counter striker Umar Sai. Is he a counter striker? I don't really think so. I don't rate this guy that well. I actually do not rate this guy that well. One loss. Guess who it was? Alonzo Menningfield. You lost to Alonzo Menningfield? Hello? No. Hell no. That's a bad look. Who loses to Alonzo Menningfield? That's a bad look. I think Ian Cutelaba is just more experienced. He's more experienced. He's faced the better opponents. He has the maturity now in the octagon where he's more relaxed. He doesn't swing like an idiot. And I think he has his combat sambo to fall back on if things get out of hand on the feet. I think he can mix in the grappling, take Umar down, and beat him up. I think he can do this. 29-28 decision. Next up, we got Maran Orahiki versus Harry Hardwick. Harry Hardwick with quite possibly one of the worst UFC debuts of all time. Getting leg kick TKO'd by... I forget his name. They call him the log cutter, tree cutter, or something like that. And also Marwan Rahiki. I don't know how this guy didn't get put away in his Dana White Contender Series fight. I think he got dropped 3 or 4 times in round 1. Somehow survived. 8 big shots. Gassed his opponent and found a finish in round 2. Insane. Absolutely insane. And I think Rahiki is going to be able to get this done against Hardwick. How do I think he's going to do it? I think he's going to find a spinning back elbow in round 2. I'm going to show a clip right here. And that clip basically shows that Hardwick kind of walks into a spinning elbow, bro. I think Rohiki's more skilled and has the ability to find his range and find that shot. Hardwick he kind of needs to win this fight after his last performance, if not likely cut from the UFC. So his career is kind of on the line here, and he knows how to win this fight. It's via grappling, via taking this guy down, via controlling him, trying to get a sub. So if he's smart and has the ability to get inside that range and take him down and do it, he could win. But I think Rahiki finds a spinning back elbow round 2. Next up, we got Andre Fili versus Jose Delgado. This is a no-brainer fight for me. I think Jose Delgado is going to absolutely walk through Andre Fili. I don't think Andre Fili's that good. He made like a UFC comeback a few years ago where he won and then got chinned and then just lost and then won again and then lost, and back and forth career for this guy. But I think Delgado is just better and more dangerous everywhere. I don't think Fili honestly has a chance on the ground or the feet. Cool tattoos though, can't lie, those are pretty dope. And Andre Fili, like his 3 out of his last 4 wins are by split decision, and that just screams luck. Like that could be 0-4, you know, with these judges, that could be 0-4. So I'm going Delgado round 1 KO. I think he's just better. He's younger. He's hungrier. Andre Fili's kind of washed and over it. Next up, we got co-main event, Amanda Lemos versus Jillian Robertson. I'm going with Robertson by round 1 sub. We have seen Amanda Lemos time and time again get controlled on the ground, in the clinch, against the cage, and have no ability to get back up to her feet. I think about her fight with Tatiana Suarez. I think about her fight with John DeRobra, and other girls as well, man. Like this girl, she looked good. I always thought like, wow, this girl's so powerful. She can KO you. She's so dangerous when she was making that big run up the rankings. No, she's not that powerful. She's not that good. And she can get taken down, and that's what Jillian Robertson does, and that is what she is going to do. Round 1 sub, easy peasy money. And now the main event, like I said, Kevin Vallejos, and like you saw at the beginning, Kevin Vallejos personally sent me a package saying that he's got this one in the bag. He's got this under control. His mind is ready. He sees that right hand. He's not concerned with little goblin meaty right hooks. He's faster than that. He's got the speed. He's got the age. He's got the hunger. He wants this, boys. That goblin is not going to land. He's not going to land. But Vallejos actually has one of the biggest heads I've ever seen. I'm not even kidding. Him and Yu Sung, whatever, same womb probably. Not even kidding. Same womb. Vallejos is a little plotty guy. He's a little plotty guy, man. He just kind of sits back, kind of waits, kind of takes in information, kind of like a Peter Yan, just watches you, sees what you have. Like his fight against Giga Chikadze, he's just throwing a back elbow. Whoa, holy shit, a spinning back elbow just put Giga out. But he was doing almost nothing up until that point. Like he wasn't really throwing anything. So he needs to be a little quicker to the start here, because Emmett's going to be swinging. Ultimately, I think Vallejos gets this one done. 49-46 decision. He talked to me, he told me personally via very legitimate note in a box shipped to my door personally. He knows what he needs to do to get this one done. He's going to be a little patient on the feet. He's going to find those jabs. He's going to work his reach advantage. He's going to stay out of range. I don't think he finishes Emmett. Why? Because did you guys see Emmett against Ilia Topuria? Hello? This guy eats damage. This guy doesn't give a fuck. And we've seen Ilia Topuria put out everyone else. Emmett's like, hell nah. I'm 40 years old. I don't go to sleep these days, boys. I'm too old for that shit. I've already slept enough. Vallejos wins this fight. That's it. That is it. That's it.